Good day, class. I am going to discuss to you chapter 2 on the topics purchasing management. So, I am going to discuss this online or via PowerPoint. We have here our learning objectives. We have first, describe the role of purchasing and understand its impact on an organization's competitive advantage. Number two, understand and know how to handle small value purchase orders. Three, understand sourcing decisions and the factors impacting supplier selection. We also have to be able to understand the pros and cons of single versus multiple sourcing. Describe centralized, decentralized, and hybrid purchasing organizations and their advantages. We also have we will be able to describe and understand how globalization impacts purchasing and describe and understand the opportunities and challenges of global sourcing. The last one is we will be able to understand total cost of ownership and be able to select suppliers using more than one unit price alone. So we have here purchasing. What is purchasing, by the way? Purchasing is the act of buying or acquiring goods and services that the company needs in order to operate and or manufacture products. So when we say purchasing, it is an act of buying or acquiring not just goods but also services that the company needs in order to operate. So we cannot operate without purchasing these goods and services in our company. So in order to operate and or manufacture such products. Purchasing also is a term used in industries, commerce, public corporations to denote the act of and the financial responsibility for procuring materials, supplies, and services. So when we say procuring, that is also purchasing in the as used in industries and commerce as well as in public corporations. So that is the meaning of purchasing, purchase. Purchasing also is a process of buying. So again, buying, it involves determining the needs, selecting the supplier, arriving at a proper price, terms and conditions, showing the contract or order, and following up to ensure proper delivery. So in purchasing, there are steps involved wherein first, you have to determine the needs. So, unsa may atong need, unsa may atong kinahanglan nun. So, in a certain company or a certain buyer, first will be you will be determining your needs, unsa imong gusto. And then selecting the supplier, you will be selecting a supplier or selecting a manufacturer or the one that will supply the goods or the one that will supply your needs. And then later on, you have to arrive at a proper price. Of course, you cannot buy, you cannot, dili ka pwedeng nga mupalit without any price, no? So, you will arrive at a proper price. And then we also have these terms and conditions. So, what are examples of terms and conditions? Those are on how it is delivered. It could be COD or payment first. Dahil mga condition na terms and conditions as well as mga terms and conditions kung naay mga guba or naay mga default sa delivery, unsa ba mo refund ba sila as to refund, so mo na siya mga terms and conditions. Another is showing the contract or order. So upon signing a contract, upon agreeing to the terms and condition, you will sign a contract or you will accept the contract or order. And then later on, you will be tracking on how you will receive your goods and services. How will you, how is it delivered to your end, diba? So, its focus is to purchase, acquire or obtain materials in the right quantity, in the right quality, at the right price, at the right time, and from the right supplier, and delivering to the right place. So, puro siya right, no? Right quantity, in the right quality, in the right price, in the right time, right supplier, and then right place. So, that is purchasing. Purchasing also means obtaining merchandise, capital equipment, raw materials, services, or maintenance, repair and operating maintenance, repair, and operating supplies in exchange for money or its equivalent. So, in purchasing, dili mahimo nga ma-absent ang exchange for money. So, you are not purchasing it without any without giving off or giving away your money or any equivalent. For example, mga notes, credit notes, or whatever. So, mo na siya gitawag og mga equivalent cash and cash equivalents. So, pwede check eh. So, that is purchasing in the sense of obtaining merchandise, capital equipment, raw materials, services, MRO supplies in exchange for money or its equivalent. So we have here purchasing terms. So if you are a purchaser or you are in a purchasing department, you will be encountering these terms. So merchant buyers. So what is this merchant buyers? These are wholesalers and retailers who purchase for resale. So when you purchase or when you buy those products or services for resale, you are called merchant buyers. So industrial buyers purchase raw materials for conversion, services, capital equipment, and MRO supply. So, kanang mga mupalit og mga materials for conversion, for manufacturing, usually they are called industrial buyers. So, usually these industrial buyers buy goods and services in a large quantity or in large amount because they are going to produce or they are going to manufacture it into another product before they are going to sell it. So these are called industrial buyers. Purchasing, once again, is a key business function for acquiring materials, services, and equipment. So it is a matter of obtaining or acquiring or purchasing or buying material, services, and equipment in the business scenario. Okay. Another term here is contracting. This is often used for the acquisition of services often used for the acquisition of services. So, lahi po na ang supply management, no? So, when we say contracting, for instance, we are going to contract those people in the janitorial services. So, we will be issuing or we will be signing contracts. So, mo contract ka nila, makig-contract ka. So, mo na siya gitawag og contracting terms. Term used, often used for the acquisition of services, usually sa services na siya. Although, there are also goods or in or products nga contracting pud gyapon ang term, but usually these are used in the acquisition of services. So, mga services like janitorial services, general services, laundry services, whatever. So, you are going to contract. And then, another one is supply management. So when we say supply management, it is this encompasses all acquisition activities. So when we say supply management, tanan nga in terms of acquisition activities in an organization, mo na siya gitawag og supply management. In BISO, we have the SMO or the Supply Management Office. So they are the one who will be procuring, who are responsible in the acquisition of all the materials, equipment, and even services in the whole university. So that is supply management, the department or the part of an organization wherein it encompasses all acquisition activities na diha masulod ang supply management. Okay, moving on to the financial significance of supply management. So, because we have mentioned a while ago about supply management, we also have this terms wherein it involves financial significance. So, first is profit leverage effect. So, mo na siya mga terminologies class, no, na kailang inyong ma-encounter when you are in the financial aspect or you are in the financial department of an organization. So, if you are going to meet this term, so at least you will be familiarized what are these, although there are lots of, or there, this is a broad topic to discuss, but I will just give you the overview or the bird's eye view of what is this financial significance of supply management ng mga terms. Okay? First is profit leverage effect. So, what is this profit leverage effect? This is there in this case a decrease in purchasing expenditures directly increases profits before taxes. Again, a decrease in purchasing expenditures meaning mga expenditures, mga expenses, kung mo decrease ang imong expenses, directly increases profits before taxes. So, of course, kay ni gamay naman imong expenses, so nitaas po ang imuhang profit. So, kindly imagine how the arrow is going to be placed. So, kung ang imong expenditures is going, the arrow is down, then your profit or your income is going up. So, that is profit leverage effect. Another term here is return on investments effect, return on assets effect. So ROA, return on assets effect. A high ROA indicates managerial prowess in generating profits with lower spending. So naapod na siya indication no nga when you are generating profits with lower spending, so there are cases man good nga you are generating profit yet you have a very high spending or also or high or increased expenditure. So this ROA effect indicates that you are generating profits with lower spending. So this indicates kung no managerial prowess. Of course, kung nag-profit good ka niya, less imong spend. So it is attributable to the managerial aspect of an organization. So sakto kapag ka-manage since dako ang ilang or taas ang ilahang ROA. Another is inventory turnover effect. So what is this inventory turnover effect? It increase in inventory turnovers indicate optimal utilization of space and inventory levels, increased sales, avoidance of inventory obsolescence. So when we say increased inventory turnover, ang imuhang inventory is paspas, 'di ba? Increase paspas ang imuhang inventory turnover meaning uh, maximize ang imuhang utilization or optimal ang imong utilization meaning ang imong inventory is dili siya magdugay sa inyong shelf kundi paspas ang iyahang in and out, di ba? So increase inventory turnovers, optimal utilization of space, of course, inventory levels, and of course kung paspas ang imuhang movement sa imong inventory, this is also an indication of increased sales as well as avoidance of inventory obsolescence. So, sa maning obsolescence kanang mga raan ng imong inventory diha obsolete na. Wala na ni nahalin kay obsolete na dili na ni uso, 'di ba? So dili mahitabo nga ma-obsolete ang imong inventory if you have this increased inventory turnover. So, mo na siya mga indications, no? Of what is inventory turnover effect. So those three are we also have here our role of purchasing in organization. The role of purchasing in an organization. Unsa man po role, unsa man po responsibility, unsa man po ang papel sa purchasing in an organization. Of course, naadyo na siya role or naadyo na siya objective nga sunod. So the primary goals of purchasing are first, ensure uninterrupted flows of raw materials at the lowest total cost. So, in a business jud class, we will always see to it that everything that we do, every transaction in an organization or in a business, that should be always at the lowest total cost. 'Diba? Sakay, because we are into business, we are into profit po. So, we are not a non-government organization man. So, we are a non-profit organization. Everything in the, because we are into purchasing man, so this is profit dyan siya, no? Ensure uninterrupted flows of raw materials at the lowest total cost. So, that is the basic. The primary goals of purchasing. Another one is improve quality of the finished goods produced. And the last one is optimize customer satisfaction. In every business enterprise, kanig yung customer satisfaction is dili gud na siya ma-absent sa inyong mga goal, because we always our businesses here in the Philippines is gearing towards customer satisfaction. That is the very basic goal of a business, a customer satisfaction. So while improving the quality of the finished goods, as well as optimizing also our customer satisfaction. So that is the primary goal of purchasing, wherein it plays a big role in an organization. So if you are going to satisfy our customer, then of course we also have this repeat customer. So mo balik po sila og pamalit sa ato ang business, or mo patronage sa ato ang patronize sa ato ang business kung they are okay. So purchasing contributes to these objectives by how? By actively seeking better materials and reliable suppliers. So, kaning mga nasa purchasing or purchaser, magsige gid na sila pangita og mga better suppliers, mga suppliers that produce or sell kanang good quality materials, and they are considered reliable, meaning dili ka inganon, okay, deliver ka ron to find out nga wala siya na deliver. Again, and next is work closely with strategic suppliers to improve quality materials. Of course, those purchasers, so dako gyud siya ang role sa purchasing department, because they are the one working closely with the suppliers to improve quality materials. So they're going to feedback to the supplier nga oy imuhang product kay maot man, guba man. So they will, those suppliers will improve their quality. Mangita sila ways and means on how to improve the quality of their materials. So in return, ang moabot pud nimo are good quality materials. Of course, so if good quality ang material, good quality pud ang output or ang product. Involving suppliers and purchasing personnel in new product design and development efforts. So ang purchasing ko no is they are going to involve supplier, ila pong i-involve mga supplier and purchasing personnel in new product design. So I remembered before that when the business, or when I work in Greenwich Pizza Corporation, so when we have the new product or the new menu or the new flavor, they will be launching it with the purchasing department sa mga purchaser, and then they will going to have simulation, and then they will makita sila og unsay mga needs nga improve sa mga products. So mo na kay ipatilawan nimo nga oy mas parat man siya, so siguro kuhaan na to ang timplada ani, so ngana na siya ang mga roles sa purchase. We also have here the purchasing process. So what is this purchasing process? So when we see process, it's an order, it's a step, it's a series. So first we have this manual processing. So manual purchasing. So what is this manual purchasing? As the word suggests, manual. So mano-mano, kinamot. So this is an older system prone to duplication of effort and error. So, when we say manual, prone siya sa duplication. Pwede nga magkabalik-balik. Pwede nga magduble. Pwede nga magbalik-balik ang imong effort. Pwede po magbalik-balik ang imong error. Pwede po magbalik-balik sa imong trabaho. So, that is manual purchasing. But we cannot avoid manual purchasing, of course, kay that is basic. Beforehand, manual purchasing is still applicable. So step one, we have here the material requisition or the purchase requisition. So MR or PR. So stating product quantity and delivery due date are clear. Ano, siguro. Okay, so due date material requisition. So, kaning material requisition, magsuwat ka siya, form na siya, and then, you will fill out unsa nga product, pila ang quantity, o kanus i-deliver, pila ang price, pila ang amount, nga na, pila imong budget, nga na siya, no? The request for quotation, in this case, the request for quotation or the RFQ, the buyer identifies suppliers and issues a request for quotation. So, in our case class, so we have this. First, you will be making the PR. So, manual man sa no, na ipagka-manual pa man siya ang kuan. Although, technology is already employed, yet, napadyo mga cases or mga scenarios or mga aspects nga ga-manual pa dyan ta. So, first mo, mag-fill up ta og PR or the purchase requisition. After that, magama na po ta og request for quotation or the RFQ. Ibutan dito ipanghatag ni siya sa mga supplier class nga na. Pila may imong quotation ani, for example, sana, one ream bond paper substance 20 8 by 11. So, mo na siya iyang specs or specification. So, ang supplier nasa tulo ka kulom, pila ka, actually, we are going to canvas or request for quotation sa 3 suppliers. So, pila man. Example, sa usa ka rim, mo quotation si BQ og 120. Mo quotation si Alturas Group of Companies og 115. Ni quotation si 32 Trading, for example, og 100. So, dito makita nato sa RFQ request for quotation who is the lowest responsive, bali nga lowest nga price. So, the purchase order. So, step 3, after ito, na nato siya RFQ, gamaan na nato og purchase order. The purchase order is the buyer's offer and becomes a binding contract when accepted by the supplier. So kaining daog adto is si 32 Trading, 100 pesos iya ha. So gaman daton siya PO. Kanang PO hatag na ni 32 Trading, and then when the 32 Trading accept that is already binding contract nga iya tong i-deliver ang mga naka-specified nga items in the PO. So, yun na ang purchasing process sa manual purchasing. Okay, so do you get it? So, marto siya no, mag-PR and then mag-serve og request for quotation nga to sa mga supplier, and then kisa itong madaog mo ay gamaan og PO or purchase order, and then i-serve na pabalik sa supplier. 32 Trading, mao ni, kamoy nakadaog. Dawato ni 32 Trading, so si 32 Trading mo deliver sa usa ka rim nga ban. Number 2 is electronic procurement or e-procurement. So, unsa man puding e-procurement? Step 1, we have material user inputs a material requisition relevant information such as quantity and date needed. So, same ra ni siya ganina nga mo input gihapon ta, although e-procurement naman, so probably na siya form online or in the internet kay e-procurement man. So, we will input whatever information of the products or materials being requested, diba? So, just quantity and date needed. Same lang gihapon ay specification, and then ay item na ay quantity, and then kanus ay deliver. So, in this case, wala pa dahil siya kung ano sa PR, wala pa siya price, dili pa nato mabutangan price. Pero in our case, nanay butangan na to og price kay murag mo siya ceiling nga kinahanglan di ka mulapas ito murag ABC approved budget for the contract nga na siya. So, in this case, step 2, materials requisition submitted to buyer. Materials requisition submitted to buyer at purchasing department, hard copy or electronically. So, Kung nanakay materials requisition or purchase request, ikaw nga end user or ikaw nga gusto mo palit, imong ihatag ito sa purchasing department, whether hard copy or electronically. So, yan na, no? Then, step 3, buyer assigns qualified suppliers to bid. Product description, closing date, and conditions are given. So, natong ginguno nga na terms and conditions, na product description. So, mo na siya assigns qualified suppliers. So, yan ito. Same ba siya gihapon nga imo na siyang i-open to all suppliers kung kinsa ang mo quote. And then, after that, kung nanay ni quote, nanay ning response sa maong material requisition form, buyer reviews closed bids and selects a supplier. So, kung makita ni mo kung kinsa ang lowest price dito, kay of course, ato mo dito sa pinaka-lowest. Kay kita may mo palit, ato dito sa mas brato. O kita mo balagya, ato tas kinamahala. Mahal. Pero kita may mo palit, we are the buyer here, we are the purchaser, so we will venture or we will go into the smallest or the lowest bid, kibali. So, we have to, if ever na natay lowest bidder, so i-close na to ang bid and then you will be selecting that supplier. Okay, so maorag hapon na siya sa electronic procurement. The only difference here is that dili na siya magmano-mano, dili na siya magsuwat-suwat, less paperless transaction maybe. So kung naaman gani mga output or mga kuan na siya, mga end product na nga mga paper, mga So, in terms of purchasing processes, we have these advantages for the e-procurement system. So, mga tagi gingon nga manual, pwede e-procurement, but we are laying the advantages for the e-procurement system. So, what are these? These are time saving, cost saving, accuracy, real-time mobility, trackability, management, and benefits to the supplier. So, when we say time saving, dili na kayo hago, dili na magbalik-balik kay dali raman siya. Cost saving kay you will not be going to the mall or to the stores or to the shops to canvas prices kay imo naman sa through online naman, through electronic naman tanan. So, accuracy, probably less na pod ang ato ang mga errors kay pwede man nato ma-trace in real time. And then when we say real time, kung karon nimo ma-post or ma-submit, nagdayon kay mulakaw pa ka, mamiliti pa ka og adto ka ang imong supplier is to Cebu, so maglukat pa kag ticket, so daghan ingon ana no. So mo na siya time saving and cost saving as well as accuracy and real time. So much more sa mobility. So, makasave jud ta sa atong mobility. Dili na ta kinahanglan lagi mulakaw. Mato pa tag Cebu or sa Manila kung ang samot na kung sila ra ang supplier jud, sole supplier or sole proprietor sila ana. So, mo ato pa tag Manila kung magmanual to. So, these are the advantages of e-procurement, trackability, management, and of course, benefits to the suppliers also kay dili na pud ang supplier no mo respond sila nga kinahanglan pa nga aari sa go diri kay kanang sabot sa imuhang kuan, sa imuhang request. Oh, naman no. So everything is these are the advantages of the So number 3, we also have this, ganina is manual processing, manual purchasing. We have the e-procurement and the small value purchase orders. Unsa man yung mga small value purchase orders? Processing cost can be substantial. Small value purchases could be minimized through procurement credit card or corporate purchasing card, blank check purchase orders, blanket or open-end purchase orders, stockless buying or system contracting, petty cash, standardization and simplification of materials and components, accumulating small orders to create a large order using a fixed order interval. So, kani mga small value purchase orders class, those are kani mga petty expenses ba? For example, hala, kuwang manday taog kayang kuwang taog paper clip. So, kinahanglan pa jud mo i-procure, kinahanglan pa jud mo nga magama pa ko og requisition, mangita pa ko moto pa ko sa BQ, moto pa sa Alturas, mo pa ko pila ilang quotation no. In our case, which is very common to us, is the petty cash or the establishment of petty cash na ate ka nang mag-hold pa og cash in a small amount, not that big amount, nga dito ta magkuha sa mga petty expenses, mga ginagmay nga dili na nato kinahanglan pa dili na nato kinahanglan pa i-bidding, dili na kanang nato i-procure, dili na kinahanglan magama pa tag TR. So, kana lang siya, kanang mupalit na lang ka dito and then we will be reimbursing you, i-reimburse lang ang kanang mga petty expenses. So, mao na siya under sa small value purchase orders. Kaning uban mga procurement credit card, ingana ano kanang company to company na siya na class. So blank check purchase orders. So those terminologies are used by large companies. So we also have your accumulating small orders. Kinahanglan pa i-gather pa tanang mga small orders. What if kinahanglan nun na, no? So although pwede ra gihapon siyang i-accumulate na to kung dili materials that are not needed urgently. So pwede ra siya i-accumulate and then mahimo siya nga large order. Tanang department sa menyuhang need, naay need usa ka rim sa sitas, naay usa ka rim pod sa admin, sa accounting. So tapuon to siya, mahimo siyang large order. Diha na nato apply ang what procurement process or what purchasing process we are going to use. It could be manual, e-procurement, or even small value purchase. Okay, so moving on to another aspects of purchasing management. We have here sourcing decisions. So when we say sourcing, asa ta kuhaon, asa na to kuhaon, kinsay atong supplier, asa na to paliton, asa na to i-source ang ato ang mga product or atong mga supplies and materials needed for our production. So that is sourcing decision. So the make or buy decision. This make or buy decision is a strategic decision kuno. Why? Because it is very critical. Because the profitability or the ginansya ka or the life of your business is in your decision on whether to make or buy your product or your materials in order for you to come up with a product. Therefore, the make or buy decision is an act of choosing between manufacturing a product in-house or purchasing it from an external supplier. So, kaning make or buy decision, very critical din siya kay you have to see to it the factors that affects your decision on whether to make or buy such thing or such product. For instance, you are engaging into a cafe. 'Di ba? So you are offering a product that uses ice cream, 'di ba, on top of your mga drinks, mga latte, na may mga ice cream ibutang sa babaw, sa halo-halo baron, no? So you have to consider whether to make your own ice cream in-house. So you have to prepare it by yourselves in your organization or in the kitchen, for instance. You have to buy the ingredients and then the raw materials and the equipment, of course. So mo na imuhang tarungon nimo og decide whether to make or to buy na lang. You have to purchase it from an external supplier. For example, adto na lang ko sa bee farm no nga nag-supply og organic ice cream. So probably you will be comparing the cost. So in this make or buy decision, the very thing here is the minimization of cost or choosing the alternative that is in the least costly for the business or for the owner. We also have this buy decision is also called outsourcing. So kung mo decide jud ka nga mo buy, this is called outsourcing. Buying materials and components from suppliers instead of making them in-house. So actually the trend now is on outsourcing. So kasagaran nagjud no outsourcing no because it is less time na dili siya kas og time ba nga magama pa nga na so magpalit na lang og humandaan or sa sinina pa na RTW or ready made. So we also have here backward vertical integration. So what is this backward vertical integration? This refers to acquiring sources of supply. So please take note, acquiring sources of supply, source of supply. When a company buys another company that supplies the products or services needed for production. So for instance, ikaw, ang imuhang negosyo is, for instance, ang imuhang negosyo is the Coca-Cola, for example, the Coca-Cola Bottlers Corporation, ang imong negosyo is Coca-Cola, di ba? Soft drinks. So, in your soft drinks, one of your ingredient there is the sugar. So, you have to look into a company that is offering nga nagnegosyo og sugar. For instance lang, for example, nandiyan no, here in Bohol, it is the basin og kanang, for instance, nagama ang Marcella Farms o kanang sugar, diba? Kaya nagkama na si Marcella Farms o unsay mga kahimuan nila. So, example, nagnegosyo si Marcella Farms og sugar. So, you are going to decide nga, ako na lang paliton ang portion sa Marcella Farms nga nag nagnegosyo or nag-offer or nag-produce og sugar. So ako na siya paliton, ako na ang mupalitanan sa ilahang sugar. So murag nahog nimo nga gi-merge to nga department or gi-merge to na business ni Marcella Farm into Coca-Cola para mao na automatic mo provide sa sugar nga need sa ilahang ingredients. So that is backward vertical integration, meaning kanang services or product pa nga need for production pa. So, backward. So, diri pa sa before or prior sa manufacturing process sa mao nga company. So, we also have here forward vertical integration. So, ganina backward, ganun forward. So, masabot na nato no nga unsay forward refers to acquiring customers operation. So, imong customer unsay operation ang imong customer mao na imong paliton. Example, the company owns and controls business activities that are ahead in the value chain of its industry. This might include, among others, direct distribution or supply of the company's products. For instance, si Kuan, you are the Coca-Cola. Example na to balik si Coca-Cola Bottlers Corporation. Unsa man after sa iyahang manufacturing, unsa may imo distribution. So, unsa may ihang pwede paliton? Pwede niya paliton ang fast cargo, mga forwarder, kanang itong mga tracking. Kung naay mga kailan mo mga naay nagnegosyo og tracking kanang mga dagko mga 10-wheelers truck na may nagnegosyo ana no, mo na ilang paliton. Sige murag ilabang i-contract ba na or kung gud siya ipaliton gud ni siya forward vertical integration nga ilang paliton nga sige paliton na lang kana mo ikaw ang mo distribute sa tanan namong mga products to the warehouses, to the stores, to the malls, to the customers. So mo na siya forward. So pasabot human na finished product na ang kung kinsa tong user sa imong finished product mao po imuhang paliton. For instance, imong paliton si Coca-Cola, iyang paliton si for instance si Marcella, the whole Marcella iyang paliton kay iyang displayhan sa iyang Coca-Cola. So after this sa production, so mo na siya forward vertical. So, there are reasons why we have to buy or outsource our products. These are the reasons why, meaning, nagi siya mga advantages maybe. So, we will know later on. So, what is this? What are these? Cost advantage. Cost advantage di ay kung mo buy or outsource ta because especially for components that are non-vital to the organization's operation. So, for instance, kanang dili mo inyuhang linya, dili jud maoy inyuhang linya sa inyuhang mga production. So, magpalit na lang ka kaysa magama na po ka another production na pod. So, cost advantage on the part of the buyer or the organization. Insufficient capacity. A firm maybe at or near capacity. So, insufficient capacity. So, kung mag-produce ka, kung mo intend ka to make that in-house, makinahanglan na pod ka og say insufficient capacity, dili sakto imong capacity sa imong capital, sa imong human resource, sa imong labor, sa materials, so insufficient ka. So you are going to tend to buy or outsource na lang to make it more efficient. 'Di ba? So masayon. Lack of expertise. Firm may not have the necessary technology and expertise, of course, di ba? So, for instance, ice cream. Di ba ka mao gamag ice cream? Wa po tayong mga technology nga para paggamag ice cream. So, magpalit pa po ta. So, lack of expertise. Mao na nga mo buy or mo outsource na lang. Quality. Suppliers have better technology, skilled labor, and the advantage of economy of scale. So, sabot og ato po ta sa mo outsource sa more kana sila kay kana mo gyud ilang linya sa ilang business, therefore ilan na yung gi-improve ilang quality. So ato na lang ta mo palit sa mo gama pa tag ato wa pa siguro ang quality sa ato ang product, di ba? So that is the reasons for buying. We also have here reasons for making. So, we will not cut short no nga oy outsource na jud dito. There are also reasons for making. One is protect proprietary technology. Those kanang mga technology or mga for example mga ingredients or mga technology or mga processes nga wherein inyong ginaprotektahan nga dili makawat ang inyong menu baron nga dili makawat, so you have to make your own jud, dili pwede nga masilip sa uban tao, so you have to protect the proprietary technology of your business. So no competent supplier, much more kung walay supplier jud, walay competent nga supplier, so ikaw na lang jud ang magama, you have to make your own product. Better quality control. Maka-control po ka sa quality. Why? Because, para ba ni sa ako ang kuan, so tarungon dyan din ako. Whereas, kung ato ka sila nga, lahi ang ilang quality control kaysa ikaw mismo. Di ba? Kani, tarungon dyan ako, dapat hinlo, dapat clean, dapat perfect. Okay, so use existing idle capacity. So in cases like na ay idle, meaning dili gamit nga uy naman kay daghang kuan dili pwede kita na lang magama, di ba? Available nga resources nato. Use existing idle capacity or available resources. Control of logistics, lead time, transportation and warehousing costs. So kung if you're going to make dili na ka manginhanglag logistics, dili na ka kinahanglan mag-deliver pa, magpa-deliver, it is a time consuming activity, and then we will be spending for the warehousing cost, the transportation. So probably for reasons of having it lower ang cost niya, mao po sa ka-reason nga no mo make na lang ang usa ka company or usa ka organization. So those are the reasons. So it's up for the manager or it's up for the owner, the business enterprise, how to decide whether to make or to buy their products or their materials for production. Okay, we still have roles of supply base. So, something in supply base. Supply base is a list of suppliers that a firm uses to acquire its materials, services, supplies, and equipment. So, if you are a company na siguro in the near future, you have your company, you already have this supply base. Meaning na kay mga lista sa mga suppliers, sa mga firms nga wherein you will be acquiring their materials, services, supplies, and equipment. So, kung asa ka mo palit, so asa ka mo source out sa imuhang mga needed materials and supplies. So, mo na siya kitawag supply base. Firms emphasize long-term strategic supplier alliances, consolidating volume into one or fewer suppliers, resulting in a smaller supply base. So later on, if you have this list of suppliers and then later on in the long term, in the long run, makakita ka nga, uy, kani man jud ako ang ganahan ako nga makig-alliance ko ani makig-friend or makig contract or makik-engage gyud ko ani nga supplier kay they are providing me the good quality of supplies and materials. So later on, it will be resulting to smaller supply base. So magamit na lang imong listahan no kung nanad jud kay mura og reliable nga list or group or alliance of suppliers. So that is the role of supply base. Mas mapadali po nimo kung na nakailista sa imuhang mga supply. Preferred suppliers provide, so kung preferred ng mga supplier, na ganahan ng supplier, early supplier involvement, information on the latest trends in materials, processes, or design. So, kung ano, mas updated ka of everything about the supplier, of what are the latest trend in the materials, mga processes, mga new designs, new information relative to the supplies and materials. So, kung preferred the supplier, dili ka ma-inform or ma-updated. Information on the supply market, capacity for meeting unexpected demand. So whenever unexpectedly na kay demand nga dinagko na kay large volume of demand in a specific period, so if you have that preferred supplier, you can easily inform them of your demand or your need. So probably tungod kay preferred supplier, makamit po sila sa imuhang demand. Napos sila capacity to meet the unexpected demand. Cost efficiency due to the economies of scale. So, least cost kay dili na makinahanglan ka mag doy-doy pa or asa ka mangita, maglakaw-lakaw pa mangita supplier kay you already have your preferred supplier. So, everything is set up already. So, it is cost efficient. Supplier selection. When we say supplier selection, it is the process of selecting suppliers, di ba? It's complex and should be based on multiple criteria. So we have here criteria or factors we will be considering in the supplier selection stage. So we have here product and process technologies, willingness to share technologies and information, quality, cost, reliability, order system and cycle time, capacity, communication capability, and location and service. So, location and service na siya. Product and process technologies. Willingness to share technology. So, those supplier that are willing to share their technology, dili kay, unsa man ni siya, pick up ni siya ma'am. Pasabot, wala siya light transportation. So, inanano, dili siya willing to share nga CO, kung na ni siya, free delivery, ana. So, another thing is the quality, of course, mo yun basic. And then the cost of ownership or acquisition, reliability, order system, dali ra ba ang pag-order? Kinahanglan ba nga, dili ba dahan siya siburat siya? Dili ba lisod ang mga terms and condition? The capacity. Sa maning capacity, dako ba sila ilang negosyo? Basin og kanang mupalit na nila sila mupalit na pud og lain nga ilang production, the capacity of their production, communication, sakto ba ilang communication, di ba tama, atrasado sa ilahang mga linya dito, dili sayon ba sila kontakon, and then location and service, of course location as sila naka-locate, and then the service, of course. So that those criteria are very necessary in the supplier selection, in the selection of the best supplier. So there is a question on there is this question on how many suppliers to use. So reasons favoring a single supplier, so single sourcing. Napo the reasons wherein there are people or there are organizations or business that are engaging into one supplier or single supplier. One is to establish a good relationship. So good relationship no among the supplier and the buyer. Less quality variability. Oh, dili na kinahanglan nga daghan pagkakapilian kay na naman sakto naman siya. Lower cost transportation economies, proprietary product or process, volume too small to split. So kanang ang uban man god bisag tungod kay gamay ra ilang paliton, okay na sila sa single supplier. Di na kinahanglan nga daghan pa ang supplier nila. So too small to split. Reasons also on favoring more than one supplier. Of course, every decision we have, we also have to base it in our reasons or justification. So, the first is need capacity. So, kung daghan din po imong need, so kinahanglan daghan po imong supplier, di ba? Kung dili makasupply siya, kailangan mo maghuwat ka na siya makasupply, but you have to look into another supplier who will provide your need. Spread risk of supply interruption. So when we say risk, in every transaction we have it always involves risk. So, for example, dili siya maka-produce o dili siya maka-provide, at least na kailaing option nga supplier number 2. Kung dili ka supply, sige supplier number 1. So, ang risk nimo, ang risk go imong distribute to one supplier. So, kung wala man siya, ang risk atong ay dili what if dili siya maka-provide, so na ay another option who will provide. Okay, create competition. So, this healthy competition is kaning maka-create og competition nga this supplier will improve their quality kay mas lami tuwa siya ni palit ni kuan kay siguro mas ganahan siya sa quality sa supplier 1. Okay, akong tarungon ko ni ako ingon ko si supplier to akong tarungon ni ako para ari na po siya, mukuha gyapon siya nako. Okay? Next is information. So, basic. Dealing with special kinds of business, although trends favor fewer sources, avoid single source. So, naiuban nga, dili siya ganahan nga, single source ra sila. So, they are favoring into more than one supplier. So, although the trend now is on fewer sources na jud. Kay, for the reasons behind for all the reasons behind favoring one supplier, but it's up for you if you will favor on more than one supplier depending na siya sa organization. Going back, we have here I haven't jot down the hybrid, no? So, when we see hybrid purchasing, it uses centralized and decentralized. So, duha kung magamit, pwede na centralized, pwede po decentralized. Muna siya kitawag hybrid purchasing organization. So, advantages of centralized purchasing, concentrated volume, leveraging purchase volume, avoid duplication, specialization, lower transportation cost, no competition within units, and commonly supply base. So, common supply base. So, usara gid ilahang supply base. Sa gatong supply base, list of suppliers. So, mo na siya ang mga advantages sa centralization. Avoid duplication. Okay, advantages also of decentralization. Closer knowledge of requirements, local sourcing, and less bureaucracy. Kaning less bureaucracy nga, ano dyan mo kayo, bureaucratic na dyan mo kayo, kinalang kamo na dyan mo palit. So, less ang bureaucracy kaya pwede mo, you have the freedom to choose kung sa inyong gusto nga ipaliton in your department. So, these are the advantages of decentralization. A hybrid purchasing organization, both decentralized at the corporate level and centralized at the business unit level, may be warranted. So, pwede pala ang hybrid nga purchasing organization nga kung sa corporate level, decentralized. Ito sa mga babaw, sa babaw, dapat okay ra bisag kinsa ang mupalit sa corporate level. But in the business unit level, usually that is centralized. So, mo na siya gitawag sa hybrid purchasing organization. Centralized yun ang, as far as business is concerned, is centralized. O, ang corporate level dito sa babaw, sa management level, pwede na siya i-decentralize. So, mo na siya hybrid purchasing international purchasing or global sourcing. So, na po siya gitawag ang international purchasing or global sourcing. Global sourcing opportunity to improve quality, cost, and delivery performance. So, this global sourcing requires additional skills and knowledge to deal with international suppliers. So, mo po ni siya, no? Logistics, communication, political environment, and other issues. Na po ni mga issues. Import broker or sales agent performs service for a fee. Import merchant buys and takes title to the goods. Trading company imports and carries wide variety of goods. Tariff and non-tariff barriers. International trade organizations strive to reduce barriers. So, muna siya yung mga aspects in the international purchasing or the global sourcing na yung mga trading company, na yung mga tariff and non-tariff barriers. Counter trade, raw materials are traded for goods and services. So, muna siya yung mga related issues on international purchasing and global sourcing. So, mga import-import or export-export na siya. Import. Okay, so I guess this is the last one here. Procurement for government and non-profit agencies. So public procurement or public purchasing, or it is purchasing and supply functions for government and non-profit sector. So, mo na siya tawag diri sa government, that is called public procurement or public purchasing. So, mo na siya yung mga terminologies sa procurement. Public procurement is characterized by competitive bidding. Mo na siya basic competitive bidding. When we say competitive bidding, contract is usually awarded to lowest price responsive and responsible bidder. So, matong gingon ganina nga the lowest responsive bidder, meaning ang price nimo is responsive to your need or to your budget or to your allocation or to your approved budget of the contract. Sealed bids. So, another characteristics of public procurement is sealed bids used to satisfy the invitation for bid and are open in public display. So, kaning mga sealed bids, kanang mga bidder, na sila envelope nga i-seal. Nga mo to ilahang bid. Di ba? Kanang, for example, pila imong bid, meaning pila imong i-price adto sa imong mo imong ang tawag na bid, kanang pila imong i-price sa imong i-offer na price, offering a bid. So, i-sealed na siya, sa i-open na siya with sa public na, sa walay, there is that thing called transparency there nga it is open in in public display. So, dungano na siya open kung kinsa jud ang tinuoray nga nakabid or having the lowest price, responsive and be considered as the responsible bidder. Performance bond. Performance bonds, incentive to fulfill the contract. So, kaning performance bond class, if you are the bidder, if you are already the highest, the lowest bidder, I mean, kung ikaw ang lowest bidder, ikaw na ang tagaan sa contract, you will be giving the company performance bond. Kung sabi performance bond, mo na siya indication or mo na siya collateral nga imo jud i-perform ang imong obligation to deliver the product. Kaya og dili nimo na siya muhatag man kana mo, mura kag collateral ba? Muhatag kag collateral nga og dili ka maka-perform, og dili ka maka-deliver sa product, dili na to nimo makuha ang performance bond. So mo na siya. Mohatag gyud ang supplier og performance bond kay kung dili ka, mura siya insurance ba nga kung di ka mo deliver karing performance bond conjure ma-quits jud re. Ano na siya. Bid or surety bond. Successful bidder will accept contract. So, mo na siya no, bid or surety bonds. These are kanang mura siya kwarta nga ihatag nimo or cash and cash equivalent kay mga notes. Kay kung dili ka adto mo ang usa ka buyer adto mo run after ako kung dili ka mosunod, dili ka mo deliver sa imong adto kumukuha sa imong performance bond. Performance bond work will work will be on the time and meet specification. So kung mo lagi na kung dili ka mo deliver on time, di ka mo meet sa specification, mo na siya performance bond. Payment bonds, protection against third-party liens not fulfilled by bidder. Kani mga ingunan ni nga for example, ikaw bidder, mura bang mga subcontracting ni siya. So you have to give payment bonds. Mo na siya gitawag, mo na siya mga three kinds of performance bonds: bid or surety bonds, performance bond, and payment bonds. So, you will be encountering these terms when you are in the supply management office or in the purchasing department. Oh, I guess that's all for today or for our topic on purchasing management. Thank you for listening and God bless everyone.